Okay, let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Just hope everyone can hear me okay. Sound is all right? Okay, good. So we come to the end of yet another week as our life flies by us. So you can maybe just feel the weight of your feet on the floor, if that's where they are. Most people will be sitting at their desk. You can, if you are sitting cross-legged, you can also feel the weight of your feet underneath your legs. Have a little cushion underneath your sits bones just to help the pelvis and keep the back aligned. Shoulders aligned with the hips. And just imagine this beautiful string of pearls of light that stretch from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just lengthen your spine. Put some space in between the vertebrae. Go to the crown of the head and relax your scalp. Perhaps there's some sensation on the crown of your head, some tingling. Sometimes with my hair short like this, or even when I've just shaved my head right down, after a few days, I can actually feel the pressure of the hair pushing back through the head, the skin. So maybe you can feel some sensation around the hair follicles. Then relax the forehead, the eyebrows, the eyes, the back of the eye, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, the back of the tongue, the jaw, the temples, the ears, the inner ear. Relax the back of the head. The neck, and allow the shoulders and the shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of the limbs. Maybe you also feel the weight of your hands in your lap. And bring your attention to your breath. Just noticing the sensation of the air as you inhale and exhale. So you may feel that sensation at the nostrils, the base of the nose, the tip of the nose, the side of the nostrils. When I did my Vipassana training, they taught us to focus on the breath, the sensation of the breath at the base of the nostrils. But it's going to be different for everyone, depending on the shape of your nose, or how you've been trained previously. Then you can notice the breath sensations around the chest cavity. In the belly. So, during your meditation, just focus on one of those areas. Then, start to recognize this breath is like home. It's very stabilizing. And be aware of any sensory information coming into you from your external environment. Sound, smell, temperature. And just allow it all to be there. And for those of you who have pets who might be walking around while you're doing this practice, you might feel vibration on the floor, sensation of their fur. Just allow all of it to be there because it can be a little bit distracting. And then be aware of the thoughts this evening. Guaranteed it's different than it was this morning. Just try to put some space in between those thoughts, trying not to follow them with the mind. Again, the mind likes to make up little stories and movies and all kinds of scenarios. We just really don't know about our future, but somehow we create a movie about it, a little mini documentary, and then we get all emotional about it. It hasn't even happened yet, or may never happen. So it's good to keep an eye on that one. And it's a very common thing that we all do. Just be curious about your mind and objective as well. So try not to judge what's there. Give yourself a break. So then we think of all these people of our life, our loved ones, our strangers, the ones we don't like so much. Now, we read something on Facebook and everyone has 1,000,001 opinions. This is just... And we really don't know the real deal. So then we start to develop an opinion about a person that put that person as an enemy person. This person is a friend person. So again, we have to be careful. But think about your friends, your loved ones, and then your people that you find a bit irritating, you have aversion for. And then there's all of our strangers all around. And remember that these relationships will shift and change. They are interchangeable due to impermanence. And all of these people are just like you and me. They just want to be happy. They don't want to suffer. And they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings, for everyone equally. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. So just allow that to sink in for a bit. I mean, it doesn't mean that in between, this meditation and the next Vajrasattva meditation, we just go around and do what we want because we can purify. The point is that we would continue, like continuing education. We would continue to try and work on all these bits and pieces that can be harmful to others and ourselves. But it is encouraging to know that there is no negativity that can't be purified. And so we create negativity with our mind. That's where it all begins. And we can change it by creating positivity instead. So we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being in this life, on this day, and in maybe any of our past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And then also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. So the first section here is refuge. So, we think about Buddha Vajrasattva, and we kind of turn to him in the same way we would go to our doctor if we were sick. So it's more like we turn to him for healing. We're not necessarily looking for forgiveness here. We're relying upon his methods. We go to the doctor, we're sick, he gives us some medicine, we take it, we get better, mostly. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged. And he's on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then maybe in general, all beings you've ever harmed since beginningless time. And think about them being free from suffering. So this is really what compassion is, a wish for, beings to be free from suffering. And then think about people who've harmed you, and particularly have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result a suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Mebowa, Situkaya Mebowa, Sipokaya Mebowa, Anarakta Mebowa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Mebowa, Situkaya Mebowa, Sipokaya Mebowa, Anarakta Mebowa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Mebowa, Situkaya Mebowa, Sipokaya Mebowa, Anarakta Mebowa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Mebowa, Situkaya Mebowa, Sipokaya Mebowa, Anarakta Mebowa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip, the harsh speech, the useless speech, lying, inappropriate speech, talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So feel happy again that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech, including yourself, including what it is you write, emails, letters, cards, social media. The next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you've walked into a room, it's pitch black, you flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So you imagine the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all the attachment to neediness and anger and bitterness and grudges, depression, resentment, anxiety, jealousy, disappointments, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyatsa Sawakammasita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiyatsa Sawakammasita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiyatsa Sawakammasita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiyatsa Sawakammasita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiyatsa Sawakammasita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiyatsa Sawakammasita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiyatsa Sawakammasita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And now think that there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness, forgiveness, wisdom, bliss, and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely, and it eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. So the nectar, flows down, pushes out all the negativities of the body, then flows up, pushes out all the negativities of the speech, and then the light comes and just blasts all the delusions of the mind. So you imagine this is all happening at the same time, and it eradicates even the very subtle imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiyatsa Sawakammasita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe. So now feel you're just completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now the fourth and final step in this purification process is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So here we just got to decide. This is what I want to do. And it must be what all of you want to do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be turning up here night after night for, oh my goodness, 4 years and 3 months now. So we just decide. And this decision that we make to refrain from harming guides our body and our speech and our mind in more positive directions. Becomes like guardrails for us and for others. So rejoice in your efforts, making the effort to come along tonight, particularly if you're in a difficult time zone. And then think of something you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow evening. And imagine Vajrasattva's delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind become one. So let's just meditate on emptiness for a little bit, for just a few seconds. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place it there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. We can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So we just do 3 verses of chanting the names of Manjushri for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. The Sun, the Dharma King, the noble Dharma, supreme illuminator of the world, the Dharma Lord, the sovereign of the Dharma, the teacher of the path to excellence, accomplishing all goals, fulfilling aims, completely free from wants of any kind, bereft of thought, a non-depleting source, the Dharma source, supreme beyond decay, enriched by merit, merit's gathering, unique great wisdom, wisdom rich, aware of what exists and what does not, while gathering the twofold gathering. Okay, let's just dedicate for the long life and happiness of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for the health, long life, and happiness of all of your own individual teachers. And everybody here, and all your friends, your family, everything. All right, everyone, lots of love. I will see some of you tomorrow morning. Okay, all right. Good night, sleep well. Have a wonderful day.